this is the first look at it, and it is amazing. I mean, you'll see here a team coming off a spawn, whether this is in CTF, search and destroy hardpoint, kind of seeing opening breaks. That's important, right, Ray?
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think for like CTF and even hardpoint, and basically all their modes, like seeing how teams break out is something that's always been talked about. And now you get to see it real time. You get to see teams playing how they're maneuvering on the map to get to the center hardpoint or get to the other team's flag, or how they maneuver to get around search and bomb sites. And you can see the strategy from like the real time. I think it's super exciting.
Well, you see an attempted flag pull on one side get shut down. Now, this is great. So you see the flag pull. You'll be able to see where the spawn's coming in. You'll see the flag run here as they'll hit the top side of the map. And I think this is going to be great for, again, showing flag runs in CTF, showing teams spawn out in hardpoint, showing opening breaks in search and destroy. There are so many great things that are come out of this. But we'll watch right now as we see the run coming in. Some support there coming from Sharpshooter as the first cap would go in. And again, this is just a video to highlight it. We're gonna play around with it a lot more in the upcoming maps, but I think it's going to be truly spectacular. Because I think the sports analogy you used was perfect in the sense if you're watching a football game, you don't watch it through the quarterback's eyes, right? You need to see that bird's eye view so you can break down all the action. One of the more difficult things we have for a first-person shooter is you see it through one player's eyes. It's difficult to tell what people are doing. Yes, we have the mini-map in the top left, which has been amazing, but for all those times where I'm as a commentator saying, hey, look at the top left of the mini-map, now you can actually just go out and show how the action's breaking down. Thank you, because this is the single greatest thing I've ever had in CODcaster.
Well, you're very welcome. We made it just for you, Maven. But no, really, I mean, our game is fast, right? Imagine football played at the speed of Call of Duty. And we committed to this nearly 3 years ago. Every map that you're going to play throughout the season, the competitive season, is going to have this built for it.
Well, Flak Tower is now going to be the map coming up next. And I want to know from you guys, what do you think kind of separates this from maybe some of the other maps? What are people at home going to enjoy about this?
Well, it's one of our smaller maps, and it's action-packed, nonstop, super fast-paced, kind of a little bit almost what you're used to in the past with the last couple of years with Boost, but it's obviously boots on the ground. Middle map is super important, a little similar to Gibraltar, but obviously less exposure to the center. But you have two windows in the middle of the map that kind of play control points, and they help you control the middle cut. Middle cut's everything. As soon as you get through the middle of the map, you're basically right into the other team spawn, an objective, ready to make some action happen and try and get a flag out.
Well, let's take a look. You know, we'll use it kind of a little bit more freely. We haven't, you know, it's a new feature which we haven't really decided all the perfect uses for it, but we'll show it off a bit here. And just talking about the Skycam, you can see how easy it is to pop out. You can see this, you know, bird's eye view of the attach and zero. You have the triangles there on the player to show what angle they're facing. You have them covered in X-ray, so you can see both squads. Momo, this is pretty damn cool.
It is, and like we're seeing here, we're watching it kind of from Attach's point of view almost. We're following him, but, you know, you have the ability to kind of, you know, lock off that and, you know, just free roam. You know, have a look what's ahead of him, if anyone's coming behind. And the great thing about this, and I've said it time and time again, is this isn't just like looking at a mini-map. You know, we're going to see live grenades going over buildings. We're going to see smoke actually come out of the ground and, you know, real strategy kind of placing it. Beautiful. Absolutely love it. Massive fan. But I do want to touch on one thing. Going into this game, Courage has been trash-talking Attach. He's been saying, you're a world champion, and I'm beating you.
That's rough.
That's got to be painful.
This is not good for him.
Well, this is kind of cool. You can kind of see the defensive stand. It's a zero, and Silly are trying to hold off a two-man push coming in from Courage and also Tommy to try and get the flag pull out. Zero and Silly might be able to make enough plays. And there you get to see it. That's a perfect view of kind of the defensive hold. You know, if you saw it from one person's perspective, you may not understand kind of the duo work that goes into the defensive hold there. But, yeah, again, this is going to be an excellent, excellent feature.
Yeah, you could see how Zero rotated back to his flag instead of overextending. And that's going to show how his teammates are spawning in reaction to that when they clear out their base, how they're able to push through from that, and how they take advantage of the kills they got and whatnot. So I think the coolest thing we watched was the first time where Attach actually pulled a flag. We saw his team was set up around the map, pushing those spawns away from the flag so they can get out clearly. They weren't able to cap it. They didn't really cover all the choke points that the other team was going, and that's mostly because we saw where the enemies were spawning and they didn't predict those spawns correctly. And it's going to be super cool to watch.
Silly, clearly changing things up. Didn't have the best of second games. He's popped out the PPSH, you know, a weapon which, you know, a lot of bullets in that one. You can spray, you can pray, but for me, he's definitely stepping it up, and it's good to see. But again, just kind of going to this sky camera, just kind of seeing where so many people are, where they're pushing, or either sitting in a corner if you're Courage.
Well, he's kind of waiting on support right now, right?
Well,
he's
right
sitting outside the enemy flag. He's waiting here to get a little bit of help. You can see Tommy is trying to push the top side and also play a bit of defense. Courage, he got one, not able to line up both. And that'll be the end of that little stretch.
But you can see the kind of patience that's required. He has map positioning. He's close to the enemy flag. He's not just trying to push in and kill the defender. He's waiting for his teammates to come and help him out and make sure that the kills he gets count. And that's something that's gonna be like a constant story throughout the year. It's how getting kills, like there's possibilities of teams winning games without outslaying the other team. Something we haven't really seen the past couple of years. It's something we used to see with
think
boots on the
about
ground.
Respawn last year. Well, this year, I guess. I mean, it was something like the team that outslayed and Respawn won 90% of the time. Like it was so heavily favored. But yeah, the less kills you have on the map throughout the course of a game, the more it slows down. Every kill is so much more important. So like you said, you know, four worthless kills isn't going to mean much as one clutch kill on offense or defense to make a play, right?
No, exactly. And I'm obviously not taking the fact that if a team outslays another team tremendously, they should win 9 times or 99 times out of 100. But it's still important to like voice the point that you can still win games without outslaying.
Well, we're going to watch JCap's flag run because he's got the flag right now. You can see the fights going down at mid-map.
And you can almost see kind of the communication. I know that's a silly thing to say, but JCap running right out the outside of the map. You see Tommy, Courage pushing those points out. Attach, though, on the other side. He's got the flag in hand. Courage, though, can he save the day? I think Attach kind of just turned on him there. But no, Attach will be challenged by Tommy, and Tommy clutching up. 1 minute to go. Where was the flag, though? It will be put in. All things tied up.
Yeah, we saw the kind of the stalemate happening from a top team, which is super cool. You can see how his teams are positioning around the map.
Well, that's another reason that's so great. Like, imagine you know, scenarios where you have a 1 versus 1 in S&D and you can only see one POV, or you have a standoff like that where you can only see one of the POVs. There, by the ability to zoom out, you can kind of see all of the chess being played as they're trying to get the return, trying to get the score through. Very, very cool. And again, I haven't had to drive Codcaster the entire year, and I'm doing it today. So bear with me as I'm sort of getting back in the swing of things, and I have a brand new feature to use. But hopefully, you're seeing some of the great uses we'll have here for the Sky Camera.
I think that's another point. You know, we touch on the players. You know, they're going to get better. They're going to work out, you know, the ways to push, the things to hold. But you know, like driving, you know, the Codcaster itself, you know, we're going to be able to utilize that Sky Camera so well as we get a little bit more used to it. But looking at it right now, we are going to go into the second side, around draw. Courage again. He seems very excited about that one. He's not winning, but he's happy.
Well, you got to remember, you know, if you're new to Call of Duty Esports, you may not have seen this, but a couple years back, he had the opportunity to play in an all-star game with the pro players, and it was embarrassing. I believe that he only mustered up 1 kill across like 3 maps. There was a lot of trash talk towards Jack because he had a lot of confidence going into it. He was absolutely horrendous. So I think he's definitely trying to maybe prove himself a little bit here.
To be fair, Jack's been playing a lot more Call of Duty since then.
That's true. That's true. Well, now you can see kind of the opening break and how important mid-map control is. 2 kills immediately go to Team Courage, and this could be a very quick flag pull. Courage, though, wasn't able to cover, I think it was Cap there as the opening push came through. Courage is still here just sitting in a corner, though. Now they're all cleared out.
And you can see, like, the action is super fast. Flag tower is, like, one of our small maps, like I said earlier. It's super important for teams to constantly be maneuvering around the map, pushing those spawns as deep as they can, because you really don't have much room to kind of maneuver around once you don't get those kills, and you're not taking advantage of pushing forward. And they can come back right at you and overextend from those side spawns and get to your base really fast.
Well, here, let's take a look at the push. You see 3 players from the first person's perspective on X-Ray. 0, though, hitting from the other side. Let's kind of zoom it out and take a look at this push.
Ooh, gets a kill. Courage turns around.
See if he can make a play.
They're
Courage.
trading kills, though. Can Silly make? Oh, this is where. Ooh, it's a big kill by Silly.
Can't get the
still
final.
unable to do it.
Well, there you see him clear out the defensive end of things.
Yeah.
We'll hop to Dave's POV now.
It was, as you can see there, you kind of saw Team Courage kind of rotate back to their base, make the right plays to cut off their flag, and clear out the opposition. And I think from a Skycam point of view, it was cool to watch. Obviously, one thing that's to be noted is that we're spending a lot of time in Skycam right now. One thing that we'll probably do during the year is spend a lot more time in first person and kind of use Skycam in positions.
Exactly.
That
When I first saw this, the way I kind of viewed it is 90% of the time you're still going to be in the first person perspective that everyone plays at home and everyone enjoys, right? But for those key moments, you know, again, like a spawn out, a flag run, a break and search, maybe a 1v1 at times, there's certainly some moments that I think, because I know for me, for Hardpoint, when I've talked to new viewers, it can be a little tough to digest at times. It's really fast-paced. You know, it's hard to understand the spawns if you're not used to staring at the minimap at the top left like we are. I think the big thing, you know, back to what you and Michael were saying, is it's going to go a long way to, I think, making the game easier to digest. And I think for Codcaster, that is one of the single most important things. Make it easy to watch, right?
Right.
One thing I do want to point out, and this was just as Ray was kind of talking about a couple of minutes ago, we're seeing Team Courage. You know, they're being outslayed. We've got Courage going negative, JCap as well, but they're in that lead. They've made those crucial kills on those runs that they've made, and they've converted the points, which is always nice to see. But with 2.5 minutes left on the clock, looking at the mini-map, Team Visco under a bit of pressure on the defensive side. Zero trying to do everything he can, 22 and 12. We're zooming things out on Zero. He's taken from behind from Dave.
And as things get close, I'd like to kind of take this time to preview a feature that we plan on shipping with, and we are going to ship with, is the extended time and capture the flag. In this case right now, you have a 2-to-1 game. Normally, if a 2-to-1 game was happening and there'd be 10 seconds left, both teams kind of drop the controller because there's really no way to pull a flag and bring it back to your base in 10 seconds. What we brought up to our game is that when the flag is out and the time runs out, the time continues. There's an extended time that allows the team that pulls a flag to capture the flag and transfer the scores, bring it back, maybe tie a game, push it into stopwatch to have a chance to win the game.
Wow.
And I think that's something that's going to be super awesome to watch, and we're going to see a lot of kind of like edge-of-your-seat moments to finish some games, and I can't wait to see that in play.
I mean, just kind of another feature, you know, for the in-game, if you like. You know, we've took Sky Camera, obviously, for us spectators, but as a player, for me, that's so important, you know, because, like you said, you've been there as well, putting that controller down, knowing you've lost. It goes down to that last second, you pull that flag, and it's now or never. You know, you've got to, you know, convert that one time.
For me, I like it because it adds drama, right? It adds a sense of urgency. You know, you guys obviously brought Uplink into the fray back in Advanced Warfare. It's become one of the more entertaining modes, and I think this is just something that, yeah, adds a little excitement, a little drama to the end of rounds with CTF, which I think will always be a good thing.
No, exactly. And we plan on only using it if the game's close. What we plan on doing is for the first half, kind of have it available for both teams since we play both sides, so make it fair. And the second half, in this case, if Team Courage was to pull a flag out, and Team Visco didn't have a flag out, we'd probably just end the game because there's no point in kind of pushing the flag forward since the game's technically over.
Here's a good example maybe of, and again, it's not currently in the build, this will be for launch, but in this situation, if Zero had this flag out, right, and there's 45 seconds left, if it hit Zero, you'd have an extra 60 seconds to try and make a play, maybe tie up the game. Just to maybe break down an example where this could happen.
How many times are you heartbroken as a player where you actually do get a flag out with like 15 seconds left and you get it back to your base and you're like 3 feet away from capturing it, but the time runs out? That won't happen anymore. If you made the correct plays to get a flag out at the time, you'll have a chance to finish it off.
It wouldn't happen here now as they killed everybody and pulled the flag for the winning team. So it went from a good example to a pretty poor one as Team Courage dominates down the stretch. Courage with the dagger, 3-1. They're getting loud, and they've dominated yet another game.
Yeah, just hearing Jack kind of trash talk, it's great.
It's almost painful to hear, but, you know, he's having a good time, and I think it just really portrays. I will say one of the things, the feedback from the players, Tommy in particular, he came over and he said, I have not had this much fun playing Call of Duty in years. And you know what? It's just good to kind of see that positivity from players like Tommy, who's been playing, you know, longer than I have, and, you know, 10, 11, 12 years, however long it is. Great to see. But, yeah, Courage, he's excited. He's won 3 back.